Hey YouTube, this is Robin1 here, and I'm here to do a review for Gotham Season 2, Episode 4. So, this episode basically presents a very interesting new scenario to the way this season is progressing and how different this series is going to be when compared to Gotham Season 1. So, I actually made some notes this time around, and yeah, let's get started with the story. So the story is basically, we see a new captain arrive at the GCPD, and this new captain is called Captain Barnes. And Captain Barnes basically comes out with a bang. He basically manages to clean up Gotham, clean up the GCPD like that. And he has this attitude where absolute right makes absolute right, and that if you go against this absolute justice, and if the truth, if you break any crimes that break outside an established order of the law, you will automatically get sent to jail. And this presents quite a lot of issues in the way that Gotham is run. And it does present some really interesting ideas. We also have Theo Galavan running for mayor, and he's actually using Penguin to achieve this. And basically Theo Galavan masterminds everything, and basically pits the Penguin against the GCPD. So now the GCPD are gunning for Penguin. And whilst all of that is going on, Theo Galavan will essentially rise to become the mayor of the city. And then, as far as the Bruce Wayne and Selina Kyle storyline, Bruce Wayne meets the new love interest for this season, called Silver St. Cloud, I believe. And this leaves Selina in a very sad kind of moment. So, okay. This episode was really good. It wasn't perfect, but it was good. Oh, and I didn't mention the fact that Riddler asks Miss Kringle out on a date. Okay. So, the whole episode really presents this very interesting idea about the way Gotham is run. Like, there is a reason why Gotham is run in the way it's run. Because the law really thrives off the criminals. And that there cannot be absolute justice. there has to be some grey in between all of this. And I think the way Captain Barnes, because when Captain Barnes entered the scene, he literally came off with a bang. And I really, really liked that. Captain Barnes really established himself in that scene about what kind of character he's going to be. And that, you know, he is going to try and be the one who cleans up Gotham. And I did find it very, very intriguing, because this is the sort of character that we can see Jim Gordon sort of start becoming. And I found that really, really interesting. But also you noticed the fact that I think Captain Barnes is going to make quite a lot of enemies this season. He's played by the same guy who played the Thing in the Fantastic Four movies. Not the most recent one, but the two that preceded that. And he is a really, really good actor, and he managed to make this show into a cop show. And that was something that really, really struck me, that he managed to change this show from this untidy mess of a story into something very, very cohesive, and sort of brought the show back to what it's really supposed to be, which is a cop show. But just not in the traditional sense. And it was really, really good, because it brought, I felt like Captain Barnes really brought some kind of foundation to the series that was maybe perhaps missing in a few of the last episodes, because of sort of what Theo Galavan is wanting to do is obviously create a world, you know, is facilitate crime in an effort to get to the top, but you sort of have Captain Barnes facilitating an environment where cops have to be cops. Theo Galavan was really, really interesting, especially with the kind of dynamics that he had. Theo Galavan has a dinner with Bruce, actually, and he's sort of playing the field, if you will. It's good that Theo Galavan is sort of trying to rise to the top, and that he is essentially bringing everyone into the fold. And sort of he's facilitated an environment that's pitting the GCPD against the Penguin himself. And I think Theo himself actually presents a new sort of aspect to Gotham, which it's not used to. The villains aren't used to their traditions being broken, because a lot of last season was all about the value of the villains' mothers, and what, you know, in Falcone and Baroni both valued their mothers, whereas in and they had traditions. And I think what makes Galavan a very unique villain is that he disregards all of that in favour of presenting by disregarding all of that stuff in an effort to show what he's showing. So I found that really, really interesting. That being said, I don't think it's perfect. I thought the Theo Galavan actually didn't have a lot to do this episode. Like, he's being promoted to mayor. Great. And he wants to rebuild the city. But not necessarily in a positive sense. Great. The problem is, the way he interacted wasn't nearly as interesting as the way he presented himself at the beginning of this season. He presented himself in a really, really interesting kind of way, and I don't think he manages to achieve that here. Yeah, so I think Gordon himself is going to have some really interesting things to learn in this season in regards to Galavan and Barnes. So now we get on to the Bruce story. I had a slight issue with Alfred hitting Selina. I don't fully understand why Alfred hit Selina. If Alfred were to hit Bruce, that would have been some serious problems. And yet he seems to feel as if he has the right to hit Selina. I didn't like that. I thought that was just blatant child abuse. But see, with the Bruce Wayne story, although nothing's really done with it this episode, I think it does show a side that it's showing Bruce being happy. Or had that potential to be happy. With Silver St. Cloud. And it unfortunately pushes Selina to the side. Which is a shame, because Selina and Bruce is actually the couple that I ship in this series. But yeah. Also, in regards to Riddler and Miss Kringle, I like that bit, but the problem is I did feel like during the dinner scene with Miss Kringle and the Riddler, if I had spoken to a woman the way Riddler speaks, the way Riddler speaks, hang on, if someone had randomly started blurting out things, in the way that Riddler did, because Riddler has this split personality going on at the moment, I would have been a little bit creeped out. And while it's cute that we're seeing Riddler sort of finally get the girl, I would still be a bit wary of the Riddler. Like, there's just something, I would just expect this female character to click, that something's not quite right with him. But for all intents and purposes, this was a pretty interesting episode, but it doesn't do very much with with what, it doesn't do very much. It could have brought a lot of interesting aspects up with the characters' interactions, but didn't. And I do think that's a shame. Anyway, guys, that's the end of this review. Now, I have a slight proposal to make. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Flash and Flash, possibly Arrow as well, are unfortunately going to be a bit late. And I'm also double dosing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for you guys. So you are going to get these reviews this week. They're just going to be late. So I'm proposing this. If you guys want, we could do a live show on a Saturday or a Sunday. That would basically be me discussing all of the episodes. Like, we would literally run through Gotham all the way to, all the way to Doctor Who. And you would basically have everything in one video. It's entirely up to you if you guys want that. Let me know in the comments or like the video. If I get 10 likes on this video, we will do the live stream. If you guys don't want that, then obviously feel free to like the video. But just let me know what your thoughts are about that. Anyway, bye.